This video is sponsored by Aura. If you've ever experienced identity theft, think about what happened and how it impacted you. What did you learn from the experience, and what steps did you take to recover? Sharing your story can help others understand the importance of protecting their identity and inspire them to take action with Aura and their different features to avoid a similar situation. Data broker opt-out, identity theft protection, financial fraud protection, certified data security and privacy, VPN, antivirus, password manager, and 24/7 US-based support. Don't leave yourself open to hackers and scammers. Go to aura.com/KrystlynCrime to get your 14-day free trial. Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring this video. Pierre Marie Lagrée was born on November 20th, 1896, in the quiet village of Quessoy, France. The son of a local baker, Pierre was the eldest of two boys. But behind the simple facade of family life, dark clouds were already forming. His father, known for his violent temper, would beat Pierre over the smallest mistakes. These harsh punishments shaped the boy, teaching him to lie, to be secretive, and to guard what little he had. By the age of 7, Pierre had already turned to stealing. But it wasn't until 5 years later that his crimes were discovered. Caught red-handed trying to steal a pair of eyeglasses while working as a shepherd in the nearby town of Lancieux. Unable to endure his father's rage any longer, Pierre ran away from home at just 15 years old. He fled to St. Malo, where he found work as a crewmate on a ship bound for the distant shores of Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. But life at sea offered little comfort. His crewmates mocked him relentlessly, and the work left him cold and bitter. Restless, Pierre jumped ship and made his way back to land. Over the next few months, he worked on 2 other vessels before abandoning the sea altogether. He boarded a train to Buffalo, New York, where he found work as a hotel porter. The job paid well enough, and soon he drifted south to Cincinnati, then finally settled as a farmhand in the small town of Arcade. Then, in 1914, war erupted across Europe. From home, Pierre's mother pleaded with him through letters, "Return to France, serve your country." At last, Pierre agreed. When he arrived back in Quessoy, the villagers took to calling him the American, because of his strange accent and modern clothes. He joined the 1st Colonial Infantry Division and earned respect as a soldier. But beneath the uniform, Pierre felt trapped. The army life, the paltry salary of just 35 francs, it wasn't enough. He wrote to his mother, begging for money. When she refused, Pierre's mind turned dark once more. If he couldn't have what he wanted, he would take it, no matter the cost. And if somebody stood in his way, he was ready to kill. By late 1914, Pierre Marie Lagrée found himself stationed in Tat de Basse, a small, windswept village near the seaside commune of Furmanville. It was here that Lagrée shared quarters with 21-year-old Private Edward Battelle, a soft-spoken clockmaker who carried his life savings in a small pouch tied around his neck. That pouch would soon seal his fate. Lagrée watched. He studied Battelle's every move, and on December 1st, 1915, he put his plan into motion. That evening, he invited Battelle out for drinks at a local bar. The two comrades laughed, clinked glasses, and shared stories, but Lagrée's mind was elsewhere. When the moment felt right, he coaxed Battelle into an open field under the cold night sky. Without warning, Lagrée smashed a bottle over Battelle's head, sending him crashing to the ground. As the dazed young man tried to rise, Lagrée grabbed a wooden club and delivered a fatal blow. With Battelle dead at his feet, Lagrée stole the pouch of francs and returned to the garrison as if nothing had happened. It wasn't long before locals discovered Battelle's body. The brutal injuries told a clear story. The killer had struck first with a bottle, then finished the job with a club. The wounds also suggested that the attacker's hand had been cut during the struggle. Suspicion fell on the garrison. One by one, soldiers were examined. But Pierre Marie Lagrée was nowhere to be found. He was on leave. And Battelle's hard-earned savings? They were squandered on alcohol and cigarettes. Desperate to cover his tracks, Lagrée returned to Queso. He went straight to Patel's grieving family, pretending to be their son's loyal friend. He offered them a photo of Edward, and even volunteered to serve as the pallbearer at the funeral. But at the graveside, Lagrée's behavior grew strange, making theatrical gestures and loudly vowing that if he ever found the killer, he would bring them to justice. But Lagrée's thirst for blood wasn't over. On January 3rd, 1916, he paid a visit to the home of an acquaintance, Mrs. Monview. She was preparing dinner for her 2 young children, 8-year-old Marie and 4-year-old Joseph. When she confronted him about his bizarre conduct at the funeral, tempers flared. She slapped him. In an instant, Lagrée's rage exploded. He attacked Mrs. Monview with terrifying violence, beating her so savagely that she died from her injuries. Realizing the children had witnessed the horror, Lagrée showed no mercy. He chased down Marie first, silencing her with his blade. Then he turned on little Joseph, ending his short life just as cruelly. Cold and methodical, Lagrée washed away the blood, looted 50 francs from the house, and vanished into the night. What Pierre-Marie Lagrée didn't realize as he slipped away from the Monview house that night was that he had been seen. Several villagers had spotted him leaving the residence. When the horror inside the home was discovered the next morning, their testimony pointed to one man, Pierre-Marie Lagrée, the 19-year-old drifter already known for theft and trouble. Inspector Legault acted swiftly. Lagrée was arrested and brought in for questioning. The authorities immediately noticed something unsettling: faint bloodstains on his freshly washed clothes and scratches across his face. Convinced they had their killer, Lagrée was locked up in St. Brook while officials debated whether to try him before a civilian or military court. But soon, whispers spread. Could this young murderer also be behind the brutal slaying of Edward Patel? Faced with the evidence, Lagrée confessed to the Monview murders without hesitation. Coldly, he explained to his interrogators that the robbery was his sole motive, and admitted, without emotion, that he regretted having to kill the children. But when it came to Patel, Lagrée at first denied any involvement. By April of 1916, a decision was made. Lagrée would face a military tribunal. He was transferred to the military prison in Rennes, his trial set for July 25th. But Lagrée wasn't done with violence. On July 16th, in a desperate bid for freedom, he tried to escape. He overpowered his 2 guards, Redon and Liberdeneck, and managed to stab Liberdeneck with his own bayonet. But Liberdeneck's agonizing cries drew reinforcements, and Lagrée was quickly subdued. Both guards survived, but Lagrée now faced 2 more charges: attempted murder. When the trial began, the courtroom was gripped by the chilling calm with which Lagrée described both crime scenes in detail. His lack of remorse was shocking. The question of his sanity hung in the air, but psychiatrists declared him fully aware of his actions. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. When the verdict was read, Lagrée stood silent, showing no signs of emotion. On August 21st, 1916, at Rennes military prison, Pierre-Marie Lagrée met his end. A firing squad awaited him, as over 100 people gathered to witness the execution. Moments before his death, Lagrée made one final confession, admitting to 2 other murders he had committed while living in New York. He begged for forgiveness from God, from the French people, and from his regiment. He requested to face his executioners without a blindfold. That final wish was denied. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video entertaining. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out and lets you know when new content drops. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.